I see what I gotta do here. Shit is backwards. Hold on. What's going on, Lisa? Because that looks backwards. Hmm. What up? What up, Tiz? What's going on? Let me see. Um, Bernice, what's good? Am I bugging? Let me just leave it like that, cause how y'all doing? Can y'all hear me good? Can y'all hear me good? How's my volume? Do I need to turn my mic up? I like this little feature here with the words scrolling. I like that. Oh, man. The pop out. What's up? What's good, drama? Okay, cool. Yeah, I gotta redo some of these tiles though. I did them on a rush job like over a year ago. I did a rush job on them. I gotta actually I'm thinking of changing my background too. But anyway, I'm just checking in. Just checking in. What's up? This is the homie. What's up, Howard? Oh man. Yeah, I'm just checking in, man. Just give my wetting my feet and my beak a little bit. Um, I'm thinking about doing a Father's Day live stream. I was gonna go to work at like 4 o'clock that afternoon, but just talking or the reaction I got, people around me was like, "Yeah, you're not going to work on Father's Day, are you?" So says if you got a minute, you could pop up. Let me drop the link because I this is really just an open panel, so whoever want to come up, they can come up. Let me see. Copy that. Paste it there. Then I'll hover on it. Pin it. Yeah, it's open panel. I'm just, you know what I'm saying, just want to reconnect with everybody. I've been around, but I ain't, you know what I'm saying, I ain't done live. It's been like, how long has it been since I did a live? Let me look. Let's look and see how long it's been. My last live was February 27th. And my last upload was before that in January. So yeah, I ain't been up here in a minute. But I'm around, you know. You can catch me over at Tiz spot. Oh, I see you got some menu at 10. Oh, okay, cool. I hear you. I appreciate it though. Appreciate it. No, you're always welcome. So, Sam Rowe, what's good? What's good? Mm. So, what y'all got going on? What y'all been up to? What y'all been up to out there, man? It's a lot going on out in the world, man. What do y'all think about that shit in Vegas, man? That's crazy with the streamers. That one streamer taking out his rival or whatever. I was trying to dig into it a little bit, but just, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of dark, so. But it's interesting, but sad stuff, man. Are y'all up on that? What y'all think about it? I'm peaceful, man. I don't want no smoke with anybody, so you ain't gonna catch me up there beefing and all that stuff with anybody. Nothing serious anyway, you know what I'm saying? Just having fun. I don't mind having fun, but you know, when it gets to, you know, pulling up and all of that, yeah, I'm not doing that. I will defend myself, but yeah, I'm peaceful, man. HR in the house. Oh, whoops, wait a minute. Hold up. I didn't realize. Oh, let me see. Authenticated. Yeah. Oh, hello there.
Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm good. Wait a minute. Why is it?
Is this the audio only?
Oh. No, I just I can hear you, but I just wondering why it's not.
Well, it popped up here up the top. It said audio only.
Why is it not? Why is it not showing you up here? What did I do?
Oh, it ain't no biggie. Hello, my darlings and my honey bunnies in the chat. Only reason I'm up here is because I was gonna go live, but you went live.
Oh, I can shut it down and head over there.
I would just give it to you what you gave me.
No, I appreciate you. How you doing though?
I'm always wonderful, darling. How's your day going?
Good. I overheated myself. I did a 3-mile run at the park, and I couldn't cool down. I could not cool down. Hey.
Well, did you hydrate before? Did you stretch and all that?
Yeah, no, I hydrated. I walked, but after it, like I was sweating, and then it took me probably like a good hour before I was able to cool down because I don't know, I was sweating. I'm still got a little sweat now. This was like I did that run around 5-6 o'clock.
Was
So
it the heat?
yeah, no, it was hot out. It was hot out. It definitely was hot out, and I pushed myself a little bit more than I.
But wasn't it still warm out then, though?
Oh, absolutely. But I hydrated. Yeah. I hydrated before. I hydrated after. I just overheated myself. Look at drama trying to leave. Nah, bruh.
Okay, well, honey, you got the 6-year-old, the 16-year-old, and the 32-year-old, so you gotta not be pushing yourself that much.
Yeah.
Girl, one of your boys.
Nah, but you know what happened? Let me tell you the truth. What happened? There was this young dude there running, right? And I jogged. So I started off jogging around because 4 times around the track is a mile. So I started off jogging half the trip and then walking half the trip and jog half the trip. So the young boy passed me and was like, don't slow down. Keep it going. And I was like, oh yeah. So but no, I'm glad I pushed myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be comfortable all the time with it. A nice comfortable run is cool, but you know, I do need to push myself. It's okay to get your heart rate up, and where I ran, the track was close to my car. Say again?
No, I was saying I see the smile on your face. So as you're telling me, I can tell that it was something you wanted to do, and it was all good. I can just tell the way you're telling me the story. So yeah, I got a smile on my face too, hearing it.
Okay, so that means you about to go get out there and run tomorrow.
I run every day. You didn't know that?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Oh, you meant my feet, not just my mouth. Oh, you meant my feet. I thought you meant, you know, my
Yeah,
husband in the
I thought
background laughing.
I thought I inspired you to get out there and run.
You inspire me, but I do enough running, darling. I'm at a pace now.
Yeah,
If I gotta start running, nah, I just pull shit out. I ain't running no damn where. It's either
yeah.
gonna be me or
And
you, honey. I ain't running.
I got to keep my heart rate up just because of what I do for a living. There's times where I may have to move a little fast or,
Yeah.
you know, go up
I
three or
ain't
four
trying to give
flights
you a
of
hard
stairs.
time.
Yeah, nah, nah.
So when we
What's
having the
good,
costume
P?
party though?
What's good, P? Open panel, P. What you say now?
When we gonna have another costume party?
I guess we could. I mean, Halloween. I guess unless somebody's doing that. You know what? Let me. I got a bunch of irons and fires. There's a couple of people I'm
Okay.
talking to um, behind the scenes, and we trying to put piece together stuff. It's like, let me see, three people within the sector, and then I got some people outside that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to really keep my you know, just get my content up and also contribute in a real way.
Love it.
I've been slacking. I've been slacking. Hey, Lorna's here.
Love
What's up?
it.
What's up, Lorna Williams?
Hey,
Appreciate you for
Lorna. Say
stopping up.
hello, everybody. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to run my mouth this show. Let's
Yeah,
see how that
yeah,
come through.
Chad. Chad, I might do something on Sunday. I got some
Oh,
stuff
that'll be
that
super
I want to
nice.
talk about. Um, yeah, I got some stuff. Yeah, yeah, we got to do that too. Yeah, I got to. Y'all, they're one of the peoples that I got to iron the fire with. I
Oh,
got
okay,
something
okay,
working.
okay.
Well, we didn't do it officially, but somebody else approached me about something, and I was like, yeah, I like the idea. Um, and I'm thinking also too of how me and Slander do stream and skip. I'm thinking of that maybe
Right.
we could create a different channel for that, so that way if he wants to review something and I'm not available, he could do it because he watches a lot of stuff. He has great takes on reviews on movies and stuff like that. Or if
Oh,
I want to
yes,
go,
you're
I
absolutely
don't,
correct.
then when we have the time to do it together, we can just do it together. You know what I'm saying? So, um,
Oh, that sounds wonderful. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put you down for today. I appreciate that. I'm gonna put you
yes,
down, and I hear
yes.
your ideas. And once you start executing them, I'll put some more stuff in the book.
What you say? I'm talking shit.
But
I
don't
ain't
be
doing
like my sandwich asking. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I knew you was gonna pick up what I put down. Just like my sandwich over there talking about PPO and has been live. So don't
it.
be
Yeah,
pulling none of
yeah,
that shit with me now.
yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, my love.
Sam. All right. Thank you for stopping up.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, no. I was gonna say Sam was going hard for a little while, but she fell back. So
Yes, yes, just a little bit more motivation, like y'all do me. So I'm gonna do it right back to you. But I adore you, my brother, the dude. So I will see you later. So I'm gonna be in the chat in and out like I always do. But just know you had another good day. You made me smile.
okay. Hey, now are you still going? What time would you plan on going live?
Oh no, honey, I had to do what you did to me. I was gonna go live, but you went live.
Oh,
That's what you told me.
oh,
And you
oh,
told
oh.
Seven the same thing. Oh, I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
gonna go live, but you went live.
To be honest
Yeah.
with you, I
I
don't, I
stirred
don't,
that memory back up. That's what I was talking about.
but I don't know about anybody else. But um, this is taxing for me. Like when I get off, I'll be tired when I get off the live. What's up, chat? I don't know why this thing ain't letting me see
What it
people.
do? What it do?
What's going on, brother?
Oh,
No.
see what you talking about doing Sunday.
Okay, well, you guys go ahead and
Oh, okay.
okay, Chad. Let me go ahead and get down and you guys have your conversation. How you doing, Chad?
Good, how you doing?
I'm always good, darling. All right, gentlemen, have a great evening. I adore you,
Yeah.
and I'll see you later.
All right. All right. Take it easy.
All right, honey.
Sunday, just a
Always.
just a just a live. So let me find this little clip because it's something that sparked me to want to go live. I kind of wanted to have a discussion based around this. I'm gonna play it, and I'll just play it now, and you tell me what you think, and then, like I said, if I may go live based off of this. But let me. You know what? I don't know if I could, because I don't know YouTube and they've been shutting streams down and stuff. And, Let me find this thing here. But what's going on, Chad? How you doing, man?
Oh shit, I'm chilling on it. You know what I'm saying? Another day, another grind. You know what I'm talking about?
Let's see. Oh shoot, I don't have it on. I did it on my laptop. Ah,
What's the basis of it? You know what I'm saying?
um,
What's the topic you looking for?
it was so you know who Jason Wilson is? He kind of bald head, gray beard, glasses. He does he's like into he's a martial artist, but he works with kids and men and stuff like that. But he there was this post where he was talking about how men just like don't really think about celebrating Father's Day. We just more like we want to be acknowledged, or we feel more acknowledged on a day-to-day basis of the things that we do. I'm
Mm.
kind of messing it up, but if I put it on my laptop, and now I'm upstairs in my studio, so I can't even pull it up. Hey, what's going on, Fiona? How you
I
doing?
I guess I could kind of see what he talking about. You know what I'm saying? Cause I mean, it's just like when people bring up Father's Day to me, my response always be like, "Shit, I'm a father every day." You
Yeah,
know
it
what I'm
was
saying?
about that. Yeah,
It's like so, all the nigga be looking for, is a little meal here or there. You know what I'm saying? And shit, back to it. You really ain't tripping on.
yeah,
Maybe get your bottle cologne out of the shit or something. You know what I'm talking about? That's the normal little go to for Father's Day. They have the little cologne and shit.
yeah. All the jokes about Father's Day, they go all out on Mother's Day. Father's Day, you get you a little something, but it's really we really don't we ain't looking for like that one particular day. That's what it was about. Like not focusing on one day as the holy grail for acknowledgement. We like that everyday thing. So I wish I
Yeah.
realized I didn't have it on this computer, man. But it's like probably like a 2 minute long thing. I will play like a little bit of it, but let me see if I can find it and then share it. But what you got going on? You are working right now?
Yeah, I'm sitting here on a little break, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? See you come up, see what you talking about, you know what I'm saying?
appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah. But shit, speaking of Father, I'll tell you this, man. Shit, I was outside yesterday, right? Doing a little shopping and shit, cause nigga always like to give him something nice to wear on little occasions and shit. And so I was up in the little DXL store, you know what I'm talking about? You be going to DXL?
I don't think we got that. I don't know if we got that. I'm in Connecticut.
You ain't got that? All right, well, DXL, if you don't know, that's like the big man store,
Oh,
for big, tall niggas like myself, you know what I'm saying? So they carry all the, tall t-shirts and stuff, for niggas who tall and all that, and the big size if you just a big ass dude, and they carry it in a polo, Tommy, all this shit. So, that's why I be going snatching on my polo shit. But,
maybe I.
I
Hmm.
was up in the DXL store and it was this young man up in there. I didn't know it at the time, but he was in a whole damn interview. You know what I'm saying? And the dude looked nice. You know what I'm saying? He had his hair cut, little polo shirt tucked in. You know what I'm saying? Khaki pants on, had the little polo boots, just dressed real nice. Something outside of what you normally seeing with these young cats out here. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, I'm over doing a little shopping, looking at the little shorts and shit, and I'm hearing him talk, and the lady asked him, she was like, why should I hire you? And he just going through this whole rundown of how he can help her benefit and bring customers in and stuff. And he's like, he ain't stuttering or nothing, you know what I'm saying? It's like he done worked on his routine. Boy got it going on, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And she tell him, she was like, I'm sorry, I can't hire you only because you're not 18, because I think he was like 16 or 17.
oh wow, wow.
And right, but she was like, but you have done so well that I would like to help mentor you on your job, what I'm saying, job search and shit. And she gave him her number and everything. And she was like, tell him what little stuff he can work on and all that. And it's like I say, man, the boy did so good and shit. I stepped to him and told him, hey, yo, man, keep it up, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. How you dress and you presenting yourself and the way you talking. Keep it, you know what I'm saying? Stay like that because we so many days we see these kids out here sagging all the time, you know what I'm saying? Too little clothes on and just not looking right the part, or they showing up with their clothes all wrinkled and shit, you know what I'm saying? It's like you could tell whoever raising that boy, they raising him right. You know what I'm saying?
That sounded like it
And
was
it's
good to
like
see.
it was, man. It was inspirational. Like I said, I had to step to him myself, and not only me, some other men in the stores told him the same thing. It's like, hey, bro, you got it, man. You need to keep doing what you're doing, bro, and you gonna
Yeah.
get that job.
And I don't know if you realize how much of it that's a big deal for, like, you think about when you were young, if some older cats came to you and hit you like that, that's a big deal for him to hear that. If he didn't think he was on the right path, or he was unsure a little bit because he didn't get the job, because sometimes a no can devastate you, because
Right,
but because y'all just propped him up after that, I think he gonna be all right. Like, he really, you don't know what you did by just, what I'm saying, taking the time out and making his day like that. That's a big deal, man.
right.
Salute for
Cause
that.
I mean, that's the whole thing. That's why I tell my mom about the shit. It's like, I didn't want the boy to feel, devastated or anything because she turned him down. And she told me, hey, it's only because of your age. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like I told him, hey, bro, how you got yourself looking and shit and everything, the way you speaking and stuff. You like say he wasn't stuttering or stumbling on his words and nothing. I mean, he was answering everything direct out. Like, hey, keep it up, bro. Keep going.
Nah, that's big. That's big. Now, I ain't been on this in a while, so I don't know why I can't see. I wanna have us both up here so people could see. I don't know why it's not showing. Is it?
Shit, I
Yeah.
don't know, man. I'm finna have to get up out of here. Shit, I keep listening in. Shit.
Okay. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. That's a dope ass story too, man. All right. Salute, Chad T. He said that's a Lane Bryant for man. So like they used to have big and tall stores. Um, Now I think really that's just in like JC Penney. JC Penney, they have like a big and tall section, and yeah. Nah, that was good to see. I imagine that's good to see, especially now, like, and I'm not judging, but like when I'm around, um whether I'm driving or I'm in the mall or anything like that, um what I see is the young boys look a little different. You know what I'm saying? And I see first of all, I'm still seeing ski masks. It's like 70, 80 degrees. I'm still seeing ski masks outside. I don't know, but so yeah. I know there's more people. I know there's more young cats doing it. So I don't want to make it seem like they all, what I'm saying, none of them is really doing it. But I know there's young cats doing it, doing the thing. But it's when you do see it, it's good. I'm glad that they all acknowledged uh, that. I'm glad the older cats acknowledged that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, just you could, because they could have easily just been like, oh, that was, had that he had that thought and kept it to himself. He could have easily done that, but what I'm saying, to reach out to that young man, that was dope. And no, it definitely was good to see. So yeah, yeah, Tiz. I always think about you, about how you know we always advocating for mental health, especially for men in particular. Mental health awareness is for everybody, but there's a lane there that's not. It's just now really. I would say the last 5, 10 years, it's just really starting to get tapped into, and people just starting to acknowledge it, and not in a way where men want people to feel sorry for them. It's just that idea of what a man is has led to a lot of disillusion, and myself included. So and recently I've had the opportunity to be a part of certain things that um, gave me a different perspective. Like, it was very helpful. I had the opportunity to be in a particular place where you know just the idea of getting those tools. And so when you do get in those tough times, you know you could definitely you have some tools in your belt. So, but yeah, definitely, definitely. So yeah, I just been grinding. I've been working, and I want to scale back my workload as far as the job, and do more of this. This is actually, like, I know I said it is tiring, but I actually enjoy talking to people more than I enjoy doing other things and just communicating and connecting with people. I enjoy that. So I want to do more of that. Like I said, I got my iron in several fires. Hopefully they come through. Hopefully, it's all timing. You know, I really like the streamer skip idea with Slander. It's just I usually work on the weekends, and we've been trying to link up, trying to communicate and connect. Just so the only way I really could do it is just pull back a little bit on actual my 9 to 5, quote unquote, my trading time for money. And I'm not the time I'm talking about is the extra time. I'm not talking about my normal 40 hours. I'm talking about the extra 20 to 30 hours a week, or I'm sorry, a pay period that I do. So I could do the things that I like. I enjoy connecting with y'all. Oh yeah, nah, I'm gonna get my paper. I'm gonna get my paper, but there's a way to do it. You know what I'm saying? There's a way for me to do it and still do the things like. So it's not everything. The money is not everything, and I'm on pace to retire at a normal retirement age. So that's really the most important thing. If I could retire before then, that'd be great. But do I want to get to that point and then start doing the things that I enjoy doing? A couple of little traveling trips I want to take, a couple of little, solo things I want to do that I just need to take the time for. And again, I enjoy content creation, and I'm fairly new to video, like the YouTube stuff. I'm fairly new from the last couple of years. So even though I'm doing it for 2 years, I I'm new to it as far as the amount of times I've done it. All right, Tiz, do your thing, bro. I appreciate you. You be over here at the partners. Shit. Why? If you, I think you a mod on your other account. If you switch over your other account, you can put your link in here, man. We be over there on Saturdays. Let me see. Let me see. Let me find it. Let me find that. Yeah. Cut. Let's see. Let's see if I did this right. Is that clickable? Yeah. That's Tiz. Like I said, we be over there. Oh, y'all going tomorrow? Okay. What, y'all going the same time? Y'all going the same time as last call? I try to go back and forth with both of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I split the baby. Yeah, but go check out my homies right there. Howard, you still in the chat? Howard, let me know if you're still in there, because I think you're a mod too. Howard, let me see. You still in there? Howard's one of my accountability partners. Let's see. I think you're still in here, but I'm pretty sure you're a mod if you're on the right channel. That's if you want to know science, you want to know chemicals, and as far as with your diet or training or what's in your food or like energy drinks or the response your body has, that's the guy right there, Howard Blinn. He definitely he's trying to grow his channel, but he definitely is on it. You ask him questions, he dives deep into the research. You ask him a question on one of his posts or one of his shorts or something like that, he takes the time. And when I talk about research and diving into research, he dives into that research, and I have an answer for you. Um, it's my guy, though. And stocks, of course, if you're in the stocks and all that stuff, Lisa J. Stocks is on that. Uh, let's see, where you at, Lisa? I'm gonna find y'all because y'all see these are places. These are the places that I be, and I like to support. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Paste. Yeah, if you're looking to get your yeah, stocks, your retirement funds, and all of that, your ETFs, and all of that, you go over there. Small YouTuber, only about 5,000 subs. Small YouTuber. She's small with like almost 6,000 subs. I got 376. So what am I? What am I? But yeah, those are some of the other places I'll be at. I'm looking to do a stream. I'm looking to do a stream with my accountability group. We just got to figure out the time. It'll probably be like 3, 4 in the afternoon. That because a couple of the guys are in the UK, and their time frame I think is like 5 hours after five. Like so, if it's right now it's 10. Like Divine. Like if it's 10 now, it's 5 hours forward. So I would like to share, my accountability group, and so y'all can see what we do. We have a good time, but we hold each other accountable. We talk our shit. We make sure that we do it, but it's from a place of love. So wait a minute. How come HR? I don't have you as a mod. Wait a minute. Oh wow. Wait a minute. Hold on for a second. Okay. Copy that. Copy that. All right, y'all just chill for a second. I'll be right back. Actually, let me just stay on screen because it's not even showing me up on screen. I don't want nobody to think I'm not here. Let me see. Where is... Where the hell do I have HR as a... Let me get back here. Okay. I gotta. Let me see. Where you at here? I don't have H. How could I not have HR modded up? Copy that. It ain't doing it. Okay. Yeah. Why is it not doing it? I cannot. I tried to copy and paste it. It's not letting me do it. What is it? Damn, comma. Okay. All right. N, comma. Yes. I don't know if, okay, here we go. Here it is. All right, all right. DMO, comment in the chat. Let me see if I did that. Comment in the chat, DMO. See if I did that. Can't believe I didn't have HR modded up. All right, cool. Let's see. All right, what I got on time? Oh, hoping to get an hour out of this. Hold on, y'all. Let me refresh my drink. All right, I'm back. All right, y'all. Yeah, I want to share some stuff, but I got to check. I got to look around and see how YouTube and everything is behaving, because notice I don't want to, I barely stream. I don't want to get dinged for certain things, or at least I want to change what I have enough that I could you know what I'm saying? So I'm able to reuse the content, at least enough so I can reuse the content. All right, cool. All right. Well, while I'm live, I'm just gonna stay live. Some people, if y'all come in, y'all want to chat, y'all can. But while I'm up here, I'm just gonna work on some shit. Get up in Canva, start working on some things. And then I will check in with y'all every now and then. I might as well work on some stuff while I'm up here. Yeah, the other thing too, man, I've been kind of dealing with a little bit of like a little burnout, not necessarily about what content in life. And I don't take breaks, so I end up always taking naps and sleeping when you know when family members or people around me want to do things. I'm usually tired, so I can't be fun to be around. I'm sure I'm not too fun to be around. I'm pretty sure of that. It is 10, it's 11 after 10, Fiona. What time is it in Vietnam? I'm loving your vlogs too, by the way. Running marathons and I don't even think you're doing like 5Ks. I think you like doing just marathons. You running little 5Ks like I do. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Glad you're in the clouds. Love your voice. Love your voice. Elle speaks definitely. She's in. She covers a lot of court cases and things like that. So, really good channel. Appreciate you for being here. Yeah, man. So I was talking about burnout, man. You gotta take some time. Make sure that you are not burning yourself out like I do. You know, I let's see. I think you in Canada, right, Lorna? You're in Canada right now. Are you? If you in? Let me know first. You in Canada, and then what's the weather like over there right now? The part of Canada. I believe you're in Canada. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you're in Canada. Hot and then cold. Like it hasn't really been that cold, and I don't expect it to get too cold here. Again, I'm in Connecticut. I don't expect it to get too cold here. Maybe there'll be some cool nights, but as far as the weather, it's been consistently warm. I put the AC in here. I don't know if y'all can hear. That's why I put the music on. I wasn't sure if the AC was going to be real loud and nothing like that. But in Toronto, okay. I heard a lot of good things about Toronto, or like that. It's like well, it seems to be a destination. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys do Carnival in Toronto as well? I heard a lot of good things about Toronto. And I think you on the same time zone as me, right, Lorna? It's around 10 o'clock. It's 10:13 in Canada right now. I'm trying to figure out why when I turn my camera off, it just removes me. I don't see my. Is it me? Let me see something. Yeah, it is not. Yeah, it's not showing my avatar. I wonder why it's not showing my avatar. And then so if I want to turn my camera off, it looks like yeah, the biggest carnival in North America. Yes, yeah, same times. Okay. Do you participate in the carnival? Talking about costumes and all of that good stuff. Are you out there? Have we seen footage of you out there, Lorna Williams, with some feathers on, dancing around? Have we seen you out there? Is there footage out there? Drove from first time. Oh, so steering wheel on the left for you is the opposite side. That's we used to the steering wheel on the left. Last call. What's up, homie? How you doing, brother? That's the homie right there. Let me see. Hold up for a second. Last call. Do I? And you're not a mod. How do I not have you as a mod? Nah. Fiona is right. Well, not right now. She's in Vietnam. So if you're thinking about Fiona's comments, not Canada. Fiona's in Vietnam right now. How do I not? I don't understand why. Last call. Why are you not a mod in the chat? Just a moment right there. Where's that here? Settings. Okay, so I probably gotta copy and paste your name because I imagine there's a bunch of last calls imagine there's a bunch of last calls. Let's see. On YouTube. All right, so let's see. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna mod you up last call because your name is so popular. I don't know how the hell am I gonna mod last call up? Let's see. Last. I gotta do it like one letter at a time. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna mod you up last call. How the hell? No. They gave me somebody else last call. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna mod you up. Dang. I don't know how I'm gonna mod you up, brother. Yeah, nah, it's just like giving me a bunch of it's all kinds of last calls and stuff. I don't know. I can't believe I don't have you modded up. July 21st. Oh, so Carnival is what's that? 5 days. What's the interruption like? Like as far as like oh, by the way, Fiona says you should dress up and participate. Spoken by somebody who I'm pretty sure if she was there, she would participate. I'm pretty sure she would participate. She's very adventurous. I have no doubt. I have no doubt. You're just an observer. So is there a reason why you don't participate? Lorna, why don't you, I don't know. I don't think you've been on any panels. Why don't you click the link? I know you will, Fiona. Looking at your content, I know you absolutely would. I know that. Lorna, click the link, come up here real quick. You say like 3 or 4 words and then you can drop back down. You are all over the place. You're commenting, you know what I'm saying? You contribute from the chat. Come on up here. Well, again, the link is pinned, so it's anybody can click the link and come up. It's open for anybody because I really didn't have nothing today. I was going to do something specific, but I was like, why? Just come up, chat. I've been gone. I haven't done anything since February. I told myself at the beginning of the year that I was going to do at least double the amount that I did last year. I'm nowhere near close to the pace that I need to be. So I got to get my ass moving. But so I was, instead of holding myself back by saying, well, I don't really have a show. I don't got this. I don't got that. Just press go live. I'm glad y'all stopped in too, man. You know, I had no expectations. The way I feel like if like two people came in, we'll just talk. I'm saying me and the other two people will talk. But okay, okay. Well, I respect that. I respect that. I will not push you. I respect that. Well, I appreciate you being here anyway. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you typing. If your voice is awful, appreciate you typing. I appreciate you coming here because you know, it could be me talking to myself. Could be me talking to myself because I'm not talking about anything specific. But I am thinking about going live on Father's Day. I did a Father's Day live last year, so I'm thinking about doing another one. And I did a um, for May. I did 31 shorts for mental health month for May. So if you get a chance, go check that out. Um, and I'll tell you basically what I did was I went to Chat GPT and asked them for quotes, mental health quotes, and they gave me a variety of different quotes. And then I just, went in Canva, matched the words up with what I thought some visuals would be good, and then I uploaded them and tried to find some music or some audio that would go with it, and just uploaded it. That's all I did for the month of May. But it was just a reminder, just to there's a lot of people out here struggling. So some and a lot of time uh, when I'm doing things, I'm not like if I'm talking or if I do a live or if there's an idea that comes to me, I'm talking to people, but I'm also talking to myself. So a lot of it is, geared to me as well. So just keep that in mind when you look at these things. Like, oh, you know what? I may be searching for something, or I may be looking to put out a certain message, but I'm also looking to talk to myself about these things that I'm going through. Oh yeah, yeah. she, yes, she is doing a funeral. More than likely I'll be there. Um, that's on Saturday, so I'm doing a double Saturday. So it'd be more like from the clouds. But I always try to support. I always try to support the sector because it is as crazy as it gets there in that specific space. Um, I actually learned how to stream and things like that from there, from the sector. I learned how to you know. So I'm always gonna represent that in a way because that's where I learned content creation, do's, don'ts. I learned all of that right there, watching people um, succeed and fail, and like the failures probably stood out more than anything to me. Watching people, watching what didn't work, but not the failures in just the case of the failures, but the fact that people were not afraid to fail, and that was a big deal for me to watch people try stuff that maybe didn't land, stuff like that. But the fact that they had the guts and the balls to do it, and what I'm saying, that gave me inspiration. And I've been in the sector since 2018, 2019. So we talking about 6, 7 years of being there and watching and learning people do what they and then watching people transition as well. And so I'm 52 now. So if you think 5, 6 years ago in my 40s, mid to late 40s, um, and learning how to learning what to do and what not to do. You know, um, again, I salute those people. That's anybody actually anybody that um, will open up and share either their life, their experiences, or just try to show their particular talents. I salute people who be able to do that and face judgment. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Christmas, I see you outside of work. Sorry, I don't mind. Nah, I don't mind shit. So let me go piece by piece. Outside of working, I don't know that there's any specific thing that I like to do, but you know, because because I haven't allowed myself to really like decompress. I've been working hard for so long that I haven't allowed myself to like, you know, actually do those things, or even to figure out what it is. But um, I'm more of a chill person because I had a colorful youth. So I did quite a bit of things in my teenage years up until I was about 19, 18, 19. So like things that I like to do have to develop now, and I'm still trying to figure that out. Believe it or not, at 52 years old, I'm still trying to figure out. But right now, the main things are, I like to enjoy a good sunrise, and I like to just walk and listen. I've been big on listening to like audiobooks and stuff like that, um, inspirational, or I do like people watching. I do love to watch people. It inspires me, but I love to watch people. For instance, like what you're doing. I don't know. So one of the things when I watch your content, I actually think to myself, like, what could I do? What changes could I make in my life to allow me to not necessarily duplicate what you're doing, Fiona, but where I can, you know, for myself, do that. So, um, but outside of work, I just enjoy just like quiet time. So I'm not hard to please in that area. I just like quiet time and just like to chill. What I would like to try. I don't know if I so like I don't know if there's things that I would like to try necessarily that I haven't done. I don't have a long list of stuff like that, but it maybe just see certain things, see particular historic sites, or go to particular places that that I've seen that look like when you look at something when you look at something like on a TV screen or on a YouTube page, um, it may look a certain way, but being that I've been to a couple of places, I know the difference between actually experiencing it. So, there may be some places that I would like to see in person. And probably and most likely it'd be like like natural places, not necessarily. Um, well, if it's man-made, it'd be from man-made from years ago, not anything particularly new. What I'm saying? It wouldn't be anything that just was popped up in the last 50 to 100 years. I would like to probably go to places that have that still a little bit of that, that from years ago. Like when I was in Bermuda years ago, a couple of years back, the taxi driver was like, he asked if he could, like if you have permission to take y'all to like, I want y'all to see Bermuda. I don't want to just bring y'all to the places that the resort or that the cruise line, they have a deal with these places. So what I'm saying, I was able to. He was like, yeah, yeah, take us to. So he was taking us to like some of those homes that's been around for years, and they're stuff like that. So I enjoy things like that. And what things I like to try? As far as things that I would like to try, I probably would like to just try different foods, authentic foods. Now, if I could find a place like somewhere like New York, they probably have maybe somebody, because people come from all over the world and go to New York. So you might find some authentic foods, but I would like to go to the places and probably, there's no place in particular, but I would like to try some authentic food from other places where, what I'm saying, the people have their feet in the dirt and they're actually making it, what I'm saying, with love. Like, what I'm saying, like the way my mom makes her food, what I'm saying, I would love to try different foods. So hopefully that answers your question. As long-winded as it was, hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, yeah. No, I have no illusions. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with building slow. I'm okay with putting in the work. I understand that, you showing up every day is part of the deal. And, that whole 10,000 hours of something makes you good at it. Um, I might be butchering that, but yeah, no, I definitely feel like slow building is fine. You know, I'm not in a rush uh, to build a channel. Countries, as far as the countries, it probably would be like the countries that have. I imagine that all countries have areas where they still have some things that um, people from a couple of generations before built, and they're still standing. So I would like to go to places like that where, I don't get me wrong. I love modern stuff. I love technology. I love where the future is going. I can only imagine it. But as far as like, I would really like to be, you know, um, in that authentic or like there are places where you go to and you could I don't want to get too like woo on y'all, but like where you could actually, it's like the presence of before is there. So I would like to go to countries that still have that, and I would love to experience that. And again, I appreciate you for throwing these questions. Keep throwing questions. I have no problem. This live was not intended to go in any direction. You know what I'm saying? I just want to click live and, like I said, get my feet wet, wet my beak, get back to talking, and connecting with y'all. Peaceful, authentic, great food. Okay, Japan. I'm gonna do a little research and see what that's about. Appreciate the recommendation. Hmm. Do you, Lorna? Do you check out all the cuisines? Are you afraid of any particular cuisine? Are you afraid of any particular culture as far as the food wise? Because I want to try a little bit of everything. Just a little taste of everything. You know what I'm saying? That'd be cool. Again, I appreciate y'all, Lorna and Fiona, for throwing these questions and continuing to chat because I probably would have, I probably would have ended the live a while ago if you guys weren't communicating. So I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, Fiona, what would you say is your favorite? Because you seem to travel a little bit. What would you say is your favorite country or your favorite continent to be on, and why? Okay, so you don't like raw sushi. So I don't. Sorry, I've eaten sushi. I don't know the difference. Silly as that sound, I don't know the difference between raw sushi um, and cooked sushi. Do you mean like they'll have like the shrimp tempura um, versus I don't know what would be considered raw sushi? If you could answer that question, because I'm not big. I don't know sushi that much. Like person. Okay, so let me try to narrow it down. Um, if you could visit more than you probably been in these places more than once, but if you could visit more than what? How about this in Africa and in Asia? What are the places that you've been to the most? That should tell me that'll probably tell me like that'll probably give me a little bit closer answer to my question. Again, just an open chat, open panel. So if you have any questions or you want to talk about something, feel free to chime in. We just vibing, you know. I don't have nothing specific going on. I just want to fire up the live stream. So all right, all right, all right. Don't mind me. Well, I got y'all here. I'm messing around in Canva as well. So trying to figure out my Father's Day thumbnail. Okay. All right, hold up. Let's see. You've been in Vietnam 9 months. Okay. And my time. Okay. So how long do you Fiona, how long do you how do you decide how long you're gonna stay in the area? Is it all planned out, or is it just like you get a feel and it's like it's time to go? Cook sushi, steam sushi, or fish. Okay. Yeah, because again, I'm not. You know what I did do one day? I living life to the fullest. Salute. I appreciate you for stopping in, sister from the UK. Living life to the fullest. Definitely appreciate you for being here. Appreciate it. Let's see. Oh, I was gonna say about sushi. There was like so I was eating sushi with my son, and there was like this. I know now because he knew. He was like 5 or 6 at the time, and it was like this little paste sitting there, and it was like pink or something like that, green. I don't know, but it looked like it was sweet. And when I tasted it, he's smiling because he knew what it was. I didn't know what it was, and it was like this. I don't know. It came through my. I mean, snot was coming out of my nose anyway. So I will never taste that again. But I do like sushi as far as it tastes. I don't eat a lot of like rice and bread and stuff like that, but a good tasting sushi, I'll mess with it. Hey, listening in is great. Appreciate you. I'm saying, I definitely one day you got to lend your voice to a stream up here with me, because I definitely would love to talk to you. Swedish says we go away for 6 months. And it's come and gone, so I'm taking a year, which is nearly over. Okay. But just following you, man. Following you is just, again, like I said, it's inspiring. Let me share you out too. Let me find you, Fiona. If you are looking to see somebody out there doing like grabbing life by the horns, And here we go. I'm gonna share you out too, because I think what you're doing is really like an important part of life. Not enough people, yeah, not enough people are just doing it like that. Not enough people are doing it like that. So yeah, go check out Fiona's life. You down to finish sushi living life? Okay, okay. Listen, I'm gonna hold you to that. So every time I see you in the chat, I can't even. I wouldn't mess around with nobody else's chat. I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna hold you to that. Vegans and sushi is really nice. I bet. My oldest daughter is vegan. My oldest daughter and her husband are vegan. So yeah, talking. That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, so y'all two from London. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, living life. Go check out Fiona's page. I put the link in there. Go check out her page. Fiona, where did I connect with you? Was it over at she how am I thinking? VS Speaks Royally. VS Speaks. I think I connected with you at VS. I believe that's where it was. Um, oh, Max channel. Okay, okay, yeah. A lot of us connected over at Max. I haven't been over there anymore in a minute. I check in from time to time. I see he was covering like yeah. I think it was VS. I think it was VS. It might have been both because a lot of people funnel through. It's weird. We all kind of funnel through the same channels, um, and it's interesting too, you know. But yeah, I'm thinking it might have been Miss VS Speaks Royally. I'm thinking there, but it might have been Max too, because we all were over at Max's. We all kind of been at the same channels, and one channel links to another channel and links to another channel, which I think is great. I think that's the way it's supposed to be. Um, I'm all good with. Yes, okay. So if you remember the Sussex, but yeah. That's where I linked up at too. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been over at Max Beast in a minute. I was one of the group of people that uh, there was a time where he was just like, y'all all came around at the same time, and he was just like, we all, what do you call crisis actors and all that stuff. I was like, okay, it's time to go. But before that, I enjoyed. I really haven't been over there that much. I see like he's covering Diddy things, so I'm still sub to him on, I believe, on this channel or my other channel that had my that when I first got on YouTube, I had my first and last name, and I changed it to something different. But if you watch if somebody ever posts old stuff, you can see that that name didn't change. I mean, it's still old. My old name is there. My first and last name is there. But yeah, I still definitely was a supporter. Yeah, no, but Max is talented. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to do it. And I say part of doing this thing is not being afraid to do it, and especially if you're going to be on camera, because you know you're going to come under judgment. You know, people are going to be critiquing you, what you look like, your set, your clothes, how you sound. So, Max is one of those guys who, you know what I'm saying, who has a voice and is not afraid to use it. And now, I dug being over there. I dug being over there. Just, somebody tell you they don't want you around. Um, for me, like if you don't want me around, I'm cool with that. I bite the bullet and keep it moving. But nah, I really enjoy that. Oh, hold on, the homie here. Hold on. What's up? What's up? Why is it? It's not letting anybody.
Hmm.
It's not. It's only saying audio only. I don't understand why it's not.
Check.
Yeah, I
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
You know, I hear you. Don't
All
come
right.
in with that deep voice, bro. Stop it.
Brrr. What's up, homie?
You have to high. I need you to go an octave higher. I'm gonna drop you. I'm
Well,
coming
you
up
speak
here.
a little higher. I don't have the high voice. You know that, man.
What's going on?
You got to come in. What's up, homie, man? Good to see you out. Finally.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, man. I know. I know. I be, but it's just like, you know what? It's a balance between like working and then when I see you guys on, I'm like, I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? I try not to like, because I want to hear what y'all talking about, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
hold on real quick. What, if anything, do you do about burnout? So important. So part of that is last call. And I'm going to share his page. So you can find us over there on Friday nights. Last call's page. Let me share you out real quick. Because
appreciate it.
No problem, man. No problem at all. Let's see last call. You know, when I type in so many, you know, I gotta go to my subs because when I type
I
in
gave you a link a little while ago. That didn't work. Let me try again.
Put it in the private chat. Yeah.
All right.
Let me, because
boom, maybe that works.
Yeah, that should work. Cause so what do I do? Okay, copy it, paste. Yeah, okay, that's the last call. Go sub to him. We be over there on Fridays. Really thought-provoking conversations, and we have fun too.
Indeed.
Get a little serious, but yeah. Go over.
I missed you on my last one, man. What up, Tiz? The partner's in the house. Yeah, man. I missed you on the last one there last week. I know you're busy, but we had a pretty good one. If you don't mind me speaking on it.
What was y'all doing last weekend?
Well, it was something I wanted to get to. You know, once in a while we throw out whatever's on the news and stuff like that. But once in a while I like to do the documentaries. And I think you were on the panel when we were doing Kendrick Johnson and speaking on that for a little bit. So, you know, the thought, I want to bring up certain things every once in a while so we don't forget. So last live, which was last Friday, I decided to do the Central Park 5, or otherwise should be known now as the Exonerated 5.
Damn, I'm upset. I missed that. Like, New York is right there, and I was, you know what I'm saying, I was young when this stuff happened.
Word.
Yeah.
Same. So the good thing about the podcast is, you know, we even had Stephanie Collins call in with, you know, some commentary I wrote in the where I put the link in. I was like, you could tap in to just make a comment or whatever, you know, not to have a major discussion at the time, but if you have something to add, you could spend a couple minutes and we'll pause, you know, that sort of deal, and talk about it. And we were able to do that. So I had to, if you don't mind me going into it for just a couple seconds.
Nope.
So,
this is open panel, brother.
So, you know, anybody listening out there, you know, back in the day, you know who the Central Park 5 is, who I will, after this, stop calling them the Central Park 5 because they rather be referred to as the Exonerated 5, who in 1989 were basically abducted and imprisoned for 7 to 13 years, depending on the age. I think 4 of them spent 7 years, and Corey Wise was a few months older, so he spent 13 years innocently having to spend time in prison for this crime of the Central Park jogger case that they didn't commit. You know, long story short, a guy came out and had to confess to it before these guys got released. So you know them. And yes, this is the same group that Netflix did a docudrama on. But before that, way back in the day, 2012, I saw a documentary. And the documentary I saw was from PBS, All right, a little background on PBS, as much flack as they have gotten through the day. You know, if you ever seen a documentary on PBS, you should know the name Ken Burns, right? Ken Burns, he just does it right. In terms of a documentary, you don't have to worry about anything being biased or not having the information. He does a thorough job. He doesn't stay on any side of the fence. You're getting real information, you know, as far as the Civil War, as far as civil rights, anything that he puts a documentary and his name is stamped on. On top of that, he has Peabody Awards. On top of that, he's been credited for revolutionizing the way that documentaries have been done. So you know you get a good quality product when you get anything that's coming from this guy. Long story short, with this guy, his daughter, Sarah Burns, happened to be an intern in a law office where one of the gentlemen had the lawyer for their trial of the Central Park Five. And she was collecting the notes. And while she was collecting the notes and doing what she had to do as an intern, she's basically getting enraged at this case because she's seeing through all the BS. And while she's seeing through all the BS and she has access to these papers, she's bringing it to her father. Ken Burns, like, can you believe this? And he's like, you should document this. You should make a book, which she has. I believe she has about 2 books out there as well. So while she's doing that and gets the information and gets the books running and everything, Ken Burns and Sarah Burns are like, we got to do a documentary. So forget what you thought about the Netflix docudrama. This is the real deal. It's like if anybody read a book about anything, and then when the movie came out, you were disappointed about the movie. This is that. The movie doesn't do this documentary justice. And I saw it way before. I think Keeper actually put in there in one of my comments, like, you know, this is a common thing. You know, we know that people are locked up. Innocent people could be locked up as well. But what makes this difference is that they're all survivors from it. We get an intimate and unique perspective from the time that they were rounded up, basically, from Central Park that night. The course of their 7 to 13 years in prison, the courts, the trials, all of their tribulations, to their release, to their exoneration, and that thereafter is what makes this so unique. And then, of course, you could go to YouTube and see all of their interviews and everything of that. But it's so powerful. My man Tiz was in there from the partners as well. We had a lot of people in there, the beautiful Bernice, whole bunch of people commenting on just the frustration. So I was around New York, in Brooklyn at that time too. My uncle forbid us from going to Central Park or even staying late around that time. And we didn't really understand what was going on. But one of the parts that I highlight from there is Donald Trump's assertiveness, his aggressiveness into wanting to, by the words of Stephanie Collins, expand the death penalty to murder these 5 innocent Black and Latino males for a crime that they didn't commit, and without the city, without the state doing due diligence and what they would have done away with these individuals too. So anyway, before I don't want to take this whole thing over, the good thing about this is back in the days, you know, when Amazon and YouTube was lawless, you could have found this documentary and played it. Now you can't, because, you know, you got to subscribe to like 50 things to get whatever you want. I went ahead and rented it off YouTube, and I was able, let me knock on wood here. I was able to play it. I was able to keep it under my name on Last Call, I believe podcast number 38. Besides a couple interruptions, if you could call it that, where a couple people tapped in to give their perspective, real short, to the point, as I asked, and add a little something to it, you could see the whole documentary in there without, you know, paying to rent it or anything, and, you know, catalog it for yourself, share it, all that good stuff. So definitely check it out. It's one of those things about, I want to say our history, but injustice in general that should be remembered. You know, they say, you know, an injustice for one is an injustice for all. So it's just something to remember, that this sort of thing could happen. A lot of the things from Tiz and Emmanuel, people who have sons, their concern was like, I have this talk with my son, but realizing that the talk or just being a good guy, being a decent individual may not be enough.
Right.
You have the right to remain silent, but under duress, stress, or when you think the police are your friends, you're going to end up yapping and
Before you before you before you
cross
carry
those
on,
right. Yes,
what's
sir.
the because I wanna see because I might just buy it. What's the name of the documentary on YouTube?
So it is called the Central Park Five, often referred to the Central Park Five film or the Central Park Five documentary. And I believe the year is 2012.
Yeah, it's there. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so it looks like. Let me see. Oh no, that's 2010. Okay. So the Kim Burns. Okay, Kim Burns. All right. Cool.
Ken Burns, Sarah Burns. Right, right.
Okay. Because I saw like something. I don't know if it was this particular thing, but I saw where they were following these guys, their story after you know, they got out, and um, but I don't know. I don't know if this was that. But
Yeah.
cool.
It's probably that because when they got out and it was a little more popularized, that's when Netflix and I'm gonna mess up her name, unfortunately. Ava, you guys help me out in chat. Dovari, something who
Duvernay,
right,
Duvernay.
right, who made the docu-series. So it got a little more popularized at that time, and they did a lot more press
Let me
at
ask
that
you a
time.
question. Let me ask you a
hmm
question
hmm
because you do a lot of on your channel. You do sharing and you do trailers and stuff like that. How does that work? Because I got a trailer here that I can actually play. It's like 2 minutes and 24 seconds of trailer, but I don't.
Of
It,
the Central Park Five.
Ken Burns Central Park 5. There's like yeah, but I know that when I've tried to play stuff,
Yeah,
I've
right,
got
right.
I've got my my streams shut down, and I don't. I do want to hear.
Um,
But there is a couple of people here, and
I might not have the right answer for you. As I
well,
said at the beginning of mine, I just tried it out, knowing that I could probably be canceled any minute. The only thing that kind of worked for me is that I knew it was PBS. A
Mhm.
lot of that, I don't want to say it's public domain, but it's for the public. They're not doing it for profit like any other movie company is doing it for profit. So you might be able to get away with that as well. I
Well,
think that same trailer that you played, I also played at the beginning before I played the documentary too. So the only thing I could say is if they do copyright you, what I've been doing with the small amount of things that I've been copyright for, I just trim it out. That's what I got to
so
do.
here's what I'm gonna. Is that what Tiz put in there? Did you put the trailer in, Tiz?
Uh, I'm not sure. I didn't try it, but go ahead
I
and
mean,
play the trailer. They didn't do anything and off of me. They didn't do anything to me playing the trailer, and I can't really even see them doing too much for a trailer because I did with the horror movies and all that stuff. I played the trailers too, so I've been untouched.
well, I'll put it in the chat for y'all that y'all want to go and check it out. Actually, stay here now and then go check it out later. Stay here now. Go check it out
And if
later.
you want, if I am what did I put? What did I give you? I gave you my I think I gave you my page, but for that particular documentary, I want to give you the link to my podcast if I can.
Tiz put that in. He said the link you put was Last Cause Live. So he put I
Oh, you
gave
put
you,
in.
yeah, and I put your podcast in. Wait a minute, let me check.
Nice, nice.
Let me
Appreciate it.
put,
Appreciate it.
yeah, no, I gave your channel, and he put that live in there. So yeah, now I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't.
Yeah, what's up with that, man? You didn't show, yo.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed because it sounds like I would have really enjoyed.
It was good. It was worth it, man. It was worth it. But I know things come up and all that, man.
Yeah, no. That's the thing. That's the thing. Life does happen.
Mhm.
Hold up, I want to go back to So your channel's definitely been shot. So like when I try to go in and make you a mod, There's so many freaking last calls. It was like, I don't
So you
know,
still can't find me?
it wasn't getting to you like that. So I don't know, like, how do I just, because I want to make your mod. So if you ever want to come in, no restrictions for you guys that are mods. If you ever want to come in here and just share your channels and stuff like that, I want to make sure that's available to you, because I'm not.
I'll put one more time in public and private. I mean, this is my webpage right there. I don't know if you could do anything, you know. I don't know what else.
So like, because like, all right, maybe I don't know. I'm going to my recent.
Did I even show it? There I am.
Paste it. Okay, so he said he goes to his recent. Let me try that. Oh wait a minute. You know what? Let me see something. I just shared you on here, so why can't I just?
You know, it's cool, man. Do it whenever, man. You don't have to.
But while it's on my mind, because you know, shit.
I got you, man. Let's do whatever your schedule is, man. Whatever you're trying to do.
No, I just want to make sure that the people that I fuck with on that level, you know what I'm saying, this is for all of us. I want to make sure that when y'all here, you guys can do your thing. And yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, man. Don't go spending a whole bunch of valuable time.
Oh, look who Stephanie Collins is here. You know what? So
Speak of the devil.
I wanted to ask Stephanie. I'm glad that you're here. The link is pinned, but Stephanie Collins, because you are a defense attorney, I wanted to pick your brain about this thing in Las Vegas. I saw that the guy who did the shooting of you familiar with the story?
A little bit.
Okay, so the guy that did the shooting is asking for time to get to get counsel. I wanted to just kind of pick just let's from what Stephanie, if she's familiar with the thing in Las Vegas, if she, you know, as a defensive attorney, like what would be her options in taking a case like this with a guy clearly, well, let me not say clearly.
Right.
Because I read somewhere he was claiming self-defense. Is this a case that she would take? And if she would take it, yes, he's in custody. He turned himself in. And he had a hearing on, I want to say today, he had a hearing where he asked for more time to get counsel. And I was just interested from a defense attorney's standpoint, where you know, like the thought process of potentially taking the case, not taking the case, and or representation of somebody who actually is on camera doing something that publicly, like it's going to be hard to find jurors that haven't, because as soon as it happened, it's all over the place. So yeah, I just wanted her take on that as a defense attorney. But if you have time, Steph, you can pop up. If you have time. It's just such a, like, I looked at it from different aspects. As like I said, I'm not looking to beef with anybody. I will defend myself. I'm not looking to, cause harm to anybody. If there's, if it's stuff on YouTube, or I don't know exactly what the issue was, copyright strikes, or, the guy was posting the guy's wife and his, what I'm saying? So all that aside, he's now in custody and he's going to need and get representation. So I just wanted to,
I only know what the headlines are right now. I didn't have time after work and everything to do my little due diligence as I normally would. So whatever's been popping off in the last 24 hours, I personally don't have that information. I'm just aware of the case, more or less.
All right. So now I'm gonna ask you because listen, and you are a veteran. I know, me, Tiz, we kind of pushed you into content creation because you was trying to just sit on the
You
sideline,
did. You did,
pop.
damn it.
You was trying to pop on panels and give your opinion and act like, oh well, what am I gonna say if I push the button and all this stuff? I don't got nothing to say. Nobody's gonna listen to me. All this other stuff.
I was happy in the chat.
I got to go to the bathroom. You got the
Okay.
widows.
All right.
I'll
All
be
right.
back in a couple of minutes.
All right.
You gotta. Let me see. It's 7 people. You gotta entertain all 7 of them.
7 people. Damn.
I'll be right back.
What's up, people? Get your libations. As I'm saying with this case, it looks like we're going to go into it and maybe get some information from Steph, which is great. I just heard it. You know what it is with me? Unless it's not sometimes the usual shit that I normally get into, because it's been a couple busy ass days at work. I didn't get a chance to sit down and check out the both sides of it, but I'll tell you one of my initial thoughts of this is, again, this is where social media and all this shit has led us to. 20 years ago, this would not be a thing. 2 dudes beefing or even being physical or even being murderous over some blocking shit, over some internet shit. You get 2 dudes that would probably never meet in real life. Shit, is this important? Is it this important because of reputation? Is it this important because he's blocking his dough? That he has to step and be like, yo, it's this serious. I'm trying to feed my family. But you know what? I don't even think it's that. I don't even think it's the latter. I think a lot of it is like ego in how you look online that you have to represent like that. So let me just see a couple of things over here. Oh, I can't press. It's not my thing, so I can't press. I'm just reading what Tiz put. Facts. The BS is over strikes is crazy. And neither was big enough to make big. Oh, so they weren't even making money like that. So it's just some bullshit that you got to do. This is what I don't get. Tiz, how old were these fools, man? We say they were 30-ish in their 20s. Were they 2 black dudes? I think one was. I don't know. Joe, what's up? I'm carrying the show for myself here while a brother is gone for a couple minutes. If I can do, a shameless plug, check out my live tomorrow at 9 p.m. We're just good. There's enough shit to go around. So since last week was so heavy, I need to just get back and have a little bit of fun this June. So Josephine, to join. Tiz, to join tomorrow. And hopefully a brother of a certain age, when he jumps on, he'll join at about 9 o'clock. But I do understand the partners are going on sometime tomorrow too, which is cool. We might have to spy on them. We might have to jump in and hijack their show while that's going on too. I have no problem doing that, Tiz. So come out and check out, what we're doing. So he's saying Manny is of Latin descent. So have they been playing that up in the media? Any of the background stuff that one is black and one is of Latin descent? Is this something that they're playing up in the media right now? Or are they just 2 fools? And you know what? I should highlight a little bit of my background on this. As a brother of a certain age was trying to say, I'm probably the least serious individual about this internet shit. Not that I take my podcast as a joke or anything, but I'm still from the old school where I find out that anything you do online is just bullshit. Like shit you wouldn't do in person. You shouldn't be fucking around. If you can't do it in person, don't do the shit online. That's the school I'm from. So just don't do that shit. And that's my thought of a lot of people that are online. They wouldn't step to you the same way they would with balls as they would online in person. So don't fucking do it. And that's just why I kind of keep my shows a little bit light with the stuff that we do and some of the discussions that we do as well. So Josephine says, "You're working on this live. So that means you won't be in the live. What does that mean? If you say you're working on the live, it means you're working on the live. What does that mean?" Trying to decide which hat. Sly Stone did pass away. That is, he was 82, man, and he contributed a lot, to the culture, but he didn't treat himself too well. A few years ago too, man, they found him in a RV doing RV living, and it's kind of sad to think that's the way a lot of our, I don't know if I say heroes, but a lot of our culture people kind of end up that way too, and but still respect, man. He did have stuff to add as well. I know a lot of people are bringing up the discussion of him and Muhammad Ali when what was it, the Dick Cavett show, or if I got that right, when he was on there, and there was a little bit of tension in there as well. But that's kind of the way things go, man. And he obviously wasn't in his right mind then, but he's a freaking artist, musician in that time. Doesn't mean that he was a bad person at that time too. So here we go. We got the man, a brother of a certain age, back to run the show. What up, what up, what up? I don't think I did anything while you were gone.
Nothing. It's easier enough for me to just let you do your thing.
I was doing nothing.
All right, so let's see. Working on this live. Okay, Joe is. I know what she's working on. Huh? I know what she's working on. Yeah. So 80 years is how old is Sly Stone? You said 80 what?
82, I believe.
Yeah, I mean that's still that's a a good amount of, especially for that group of people that that live that rock and roll lifestyle, like
man.
Yeah, with the purest of the pure, whatever they were doing.
He did a lot.
All right, so Stephanie Collins there, so I'm gonna bring up, but it's for whatever reason I think his StreamYard is having an issue, because you see when I turn my camera off, it makes it look like I'm not even here. Mm-hmm. So anyway, let me just bring up Steph.
Right. I'll be in the background if you want, or I'll just drop down. I know Stephanie Collins is the main one that you want up there, man. It's cool.
Stephanie, listen, I know she's a bully and all that shit, but I think if you be nice to her, she'll let you stay up on the panel.
You'll let me stay. Before you start though, Steph, just again, I wanted to thank you for your contributions to my podcast last week. You got a lot of good feedback from everybody, and they appreciated everything that you had to add towards the case. And I'm very aware to call them the exonerated five also, which is what I kind of wanted to lead to after a certain threshold, after the case and everything, and after they were they got their cases cleared and everything too. So I also think naming them that is very important too. And thank you very much just for being a part of everything.
Yeah. Again, thanks for covering that, because I think that just is it's like a keystone case where it's like the whole world could see just how grave the injustice was there, but it's also it can tell you a lot about how things could just go from 0 to 365 in 2 seconds, and then all of a sudden the prosecution just gets there. They're like Cujo on a bone, and they're just off to the races, and there's no way you're going to get that bone away from them. There's just no way. And unfortunately that happens all the time in big cities, little cities, countries, small towns. It's happening right now. It's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen next week. And it's just a real sad statement on the American justice system that a few prosecutors can get their mind set on something, and then that could be the end of, that could be that determination, and that ego could be the reason somebody loses a ton of their productive years from their life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so prosecutorial discretion is so vast in this country that it's like Really, people think like the judge is the most powerful person in the room. He's not. The DA is the most powerful person in the room.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And nobody can tell him nothing. I mean, there's so many times when my clients are like, "How can they even continue to prosecute me? They don't have any evidence." And
Right.
like, I know, because they can, because they can.
And that's
And
where you have to have a stream of consciousness or something step in, especially at that level. It's one thing to try to protect your ego and your title and who you think you are at other levels where ego doesn't mean somebody else's life. But when you're faced there making that decision, and your decision is to continue with the bullshit, knowing that you're screwing people over, something fundamentally wrong with that.
right. I was talking to a friend of mine that knows about the exonerated five, and we were just talking about how what really should have happened to those prosecutors. And as lawyers, she's a lawyer too. We were talking about what should have happened to those prosecutors, and then it both occurred to us kind of at the same time that we had a prosecution here in Travis County that was part of the daycare, satanic daycare hysteria of the 90s. Do y'all remember that? When they were saying that there's all these daycares that were involved. It was like the early version of the Q thing. The Q thing that you're not supposed to say on YouTube.
Ever
And
vaguely.
Yeah, and so they were saying like all these people across the country, where all these daycare workers were prosecuted for being involved in this like devil worship, like child abuse. Like it was very strange, but it's basically been dubbed the Satanic Panic, where like all these people were being prosecuted for crimes based on alleged Satanism, essentially, and none of it was true. It was all wacky. If you go back and look at it now, you're like, how could they have pursued these cases, saying these things in court? And we had one here where a woman, a married couple that ran a daycare center down in the south part of the county, beloved members of the community, had generations, or they had that thing over for like 30 years or something. They got wrapped up in this. They got an accusation, and it just grew legs and started, it grew legs, and then it grew more legs. And when they actually brought it to trial, the kids were up there saying that she had flown away on a broom, that they had dug up, like, all these, like, just outlandish things that, like, honestly were impossible, right? And you had this testimony being given in court. And of course, like, they were convicted, they got, like, decades, like, football score-sized sentences, right? And then, like, 2 decades later, they're exonerated. But at that time, they've done 2 decades in 2 different prisons, in a male prison and a woman prison. They are, my parents' age when they come out, and they're now labeled for their entire life as these, abusers, like, a horrible abuse of children, right? And you're just looking at the prosecutor now, thinking like, you literally put children on the stand that said that all this like impossible things that you read in like Halloween stories happened, and you let that happen, and you like, how did you process, like, how did you sit through that trial and continue that prosecution? How did you do that?
How do you go home and eat dinner with your family after doing that?
But you know what?
Quick,
Even after that.
Steph, quick before because I'm looking up stuff. Is this in San Antonio?
It was in Travis County.
Okay, because I'm looking up something with
Travis County is where? Close to there, Steph?
Austin. Yeah.
Austin.
Because I'm reading this. This is like, I'm gonna just read the first like sentence, and then you can go on. But it says with a few strokes of a pen, Judge Christine Del Prado dismissed the case against 74-year-old Melvin Quinney, giving him his good name back. Is the name Quinney, or is it saying as 32 years ago convicted of indecency, sentenced him to 20 years of having to do with children. It says 1992, hundreds of victims alleged thousands of offenders had killed thousands of people as part of what's now called the Satanic Panic. So maybe this is something that's extended from that.
It's probably a different case because well, it is a different case, but the San Antonio had a slew of these as well. These were nationwide. Like there's the Martindale case where like I don't know, they had several defendants in the Martindale case. We had two here. It's ours is called the Fran and Dan Keller or Fran's Daycare. The Fran's Daycare case.
Okay, I'll look at that up. All right. Go ahead. Keep cooking. I just wanted to make sure.
But when they got exonerated, and even when it started to become very obvious, because after the Satanic Panic happened, it sort of ended with like people coming out of this daze, and then all of a sudden, like being like, what were we doing? What just happened? Like, what just happened? And so the ball started getting rolling pretty quickly on getting them out, but the process is still long, and you still have to go back and like check with the people who testified. They were old, they were adults now, and like go back and forth to get their writs together, like all the legal stuff you have to do, even when somebody is so apparently innocent, to get them out. And the prosecutors who prosecuted them are walking around, living their best life, respected members of the courthouse community. She's still married to a judge, getting her pension now that she's retired. Nothing happened to this woman or her trial partner. Nothing. She has more respect on her name than the people that she prosecuted, even though they've been declared innocent. She's getting money from the state that she's going to be able to live off forever. They got some paltry sum that's never going to compensate them for what they put through. And it's just like, how can we reward such blatantly bad behavior? Like, what do we do when people have messed up to this extent? I don't know the answer to that. I mean, we can't exile people anymore, but it seems like exile would be fitting.
Let me ask you a question, Steph. Do you think that speaks more to the judicial system and the power, or the perceived power that these people hold in their positions, or does it say more to their treatment of minorities and people that they consider less significant in this society?
So I think there definitely is. I think those things are intertwined, because I think there definitely is there's an us versus them mentality that I think is really insidious. And I think that's why these prosecutors who do these things can still continue to walk around, and like people will just attribute their maliciousness to just part of the job. That was just part of the job. We all make mistakes. It's just part of the job. Because we're sort of, how do I say this? Like, she is part of us and not the people she hurt. Does that make sense? Like, she's one of us, right? She's one of us. She's on this team over here. Even though, like, we're supposed to be an adversarial system, the defense attorneys are not supposed to, we're not all supposed to be on the same team. But ultimately, I think, and that was always my problem, was I was always really sickened by defense attorneys who identified more with the prosecutors than they did their own clients. Because I guarantee you, the juries can see who you look like, whose team you look like you consider yourself to be on when you're in front of a jury. If they could tell that you sympathize more with the prosecutor, and you're like, you think you and the prosecutor are on the same team, and you're not on the same team as your client, it's that us versus them, the jury's going to pick up on that and be like, oh yeah, this is all, y'all know what time it is. This is just perfunctory for y'all.
Right. And I think even more dangerously, it feeds into the mantra of the appearance of who's right and who's wrong.
Yep.
You're not going to cast doubt on the system. You got your faith in them. You're like as naive as looking at the Catholic Church or anybody else who you don't think they would do anything wrong under that view. You believe in the system. So anybody that is persecuted or goes against them for any reason, you condemn them.
Yeah.
Versus the
Yeah.
system. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's where we are.
Yeah, and I think we have to question potential jurors on that very heavily. When we're picking a jury, and of course, that's a whole other conversation about how honest people are during jury questioning and during jury selection, because you kind of know what the right answers are, right? Like, can you be fair and follow the law? Of course, everybody's going to say yes to that, because that's the right answer. But I try to really figure out how to get potential jurors to be honest about their what their actual biases are and how they perceive my defendant or my client just from the jump. Who here thinks that my client's not taking responsibility for something because he's asking for a jury trial? Who here thinks he should have just taken his consequences and shouldn't be here trying to say he's not guilty? And I'll have hands go up and say, I mean, I feel like he's just trying to get out of something he did, right? And people will say that. And I'll say, thank you very much, because, I know that that's not easy for you to say, but because that's not the right answer. But I appreciate you saying that. Now you can go home.
Right. Right.
Yes. So I was a juror on a trial. It was a robbery trial. And one of the things about that, like, I don't know if Last Call, if you've ever been on anything like that, but one of the things about it is, like, they know it was like disturbing to me that the person that was accused, like his lawyer was asking me particular questions about, what I do for a living, my life. Like, he really, like, I was explaining, this was in the jury selection. I ended up on the jury anyway, but it was like one of them things where, like, at a certain point, I said, like, because he was asking me about, I forgot what the question was, but I just felt like the need to say, no matter what, I can be. I'm not afraid to be honest and be, impartial. Like, I can, regardless of the situation, because he was asking me, the way the defense attorney was asking me questions was almost like, for me, just from my point of view, it sounded like, okay, we know where you work at, we know where you do, and we know where you live at. Like, he was asking very specific questions with the defendant sitting right there. So that's just a little side note.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. That's actually something good to keep in mind. Yeah, I might need to keep that in mind. Like, because I mean, we have certain information about the jurors, but not so specific as like house, your street address, right? House number and street or anything like that. But we definitely have the zip code. But our clients aren't allowed to see the jury questionnaires. We're not allowed to give it to them because of that, for that reason.
And, but I wanted you to come up because this specific case, I don't know how much you know about this situation in Las Vegas and the fact that the defendant or the accused asked for continuance. I think it's like 2 weeks so he can get counsel. But, like, I wanted to know, like, from a defense attorney who, like, how do you go about, like, you get this case across because you got the video evidence of the actual crime, and then you also have the history, like, all this stuff kind of played out online. And as a defense attorney, how do you go about either picking the case or saying no, or do you just say, you know what, I'm going to represent and just try to get him, a life? Because I thought I read Las Vegas prosecutors going for the
death penalty, right?
Right. So as a defense attorney, how do you approach something like this? Do you even just say, you know what, hey, this is too much for my plate? Or do you say, all right, let's try to get the best deal? Because he's claiming, as far as I understand, he's claiming self-defense.
So that there's new-ish. It's not brand new, but there's new-ish Supreme Court precedent that says that, and it was a death penalty case, so it's like hypersensitive, hyper focused on the death penalty cases where if your client does not instruct you to not admit guilt in a plea for sparing someone's life, like, or, in a non-death penalty situation, like admitting guilt and seeking, and really focusing on punishment instead of guilt innocence. If they tell you, like, you cannot try this case, you have to try this case on the theory that I'm innocent. You have to. I do not want you to admit guilt. You have to try this case on me being, innocent. How if that's a self-defense claim or whatever. That's really touchy because as a lawyer, you also are ethically bound not to basically put up a defense that is meritless also, right? And so, I'd have to really, really, really talk to him about why he wants to mount a self-defense claim, really get some investigators out there to see, interview witnesses, do everything we can to see if the self-defense has merit, right? If there's anything we could do to actually put up a good self-defense claim. Not just to throw it at the wall and see if it sticks, self-defense, because this is your life, buddy. If we fail, if you try to tell this jury that you were defending yourself and you lose, and it's a death penalty case, they're not going to fuck around with you. They're going to say, you didn't even want to take responsibility for this. We're giving you death.
Right.
So it's going to have to be very frank conversations over the course of several months about whether or not this self-defense thing has any merit. And even if it does, dude, like if we lose on this, is that really the chance you're willing to take? And if he's just bound and determined to be like, look, I don't care if they do give me death, it's the same thing as me being in there for life. It's the same thing because it kind of is at the end of the day. You're not getting out either way. And he wants to roll the dice on self-defense. If it has some kind of merit behind it, then yeah, we go for it. But it's also, you can't lie to your client and be like, oh yeah, this is a perfect self-defense case. Because honestly, from where I'm sitting right now, I don't know how he's going to get there.
Mm. What do you know about it so far? Like, have you seen like the before? Like, there was again. So there was a video of him riding around looking for him, saying, looking at all the hotels where you at,
right?
It even kind of like cynical, like, why didn't you tell me my favorite? One of my favorite people is here, and then there's that. Then there's all the stuff he said before, and then there's him like on that video. First of all, it's a hell of a thing to be live streaming and get your life ended on your live stream. But you see him walking by, and you see the engagement with the wife saying, like she was saying something like, "You get out of here," something like that. You're on camera shooting, and then like the history of, like, I guess he I don't know what happened before then, but he pepper sprayed her probably like a year or two before that. And then, but then you look at the Finney guy who he did if you look at his content, he did a lot of stuff on this guy. He hit a lot of the thumbnails, a lot of the, so it's like, it's just an interesting thing that, like, I understand, like, people need a defense, and I understand that the law works a certain way. But it's just interesting with all this. If you took away like the live streams, the uploads, and all that, it'd be like a whole different case. But now that you have, as a defense attorney, now you have all of this stuff that's online, that's visible, and the potential for you to what first of all, what is the potential for you to get an impartial jury anyway? But then on top of that, like, they lay this case on you, and you're compassionate, compassionate to other human beings, and maybe like, I don't know if you look at it like this, but maybe like you may potentially look at like, okay, there are no necessarily bad people. There's people, some certain people do bad things, and also you take in consideration his whole life. Like what this particular guy, what has he been doing his whole life leading up to this? I just found it interesting, and I immediately thought of you because I know that
Yeah.
you fight for in defense of in defense of people. So I immediately thought of you. I wasn't not in particular to this live, but when this case was, I was like,
Oh,
I wonder what Steph, how she looks at this and how she would approach something like this. Because you have an
oh,
interesting take
that's
on it.
awesome. That's really nice. That's sweet. But from where I'm sitting right now, and I don't know anything, more about the case than anybody else, right? I don't have any inside information, and I'm not licensed to practice in Nevada. Um, so, but if this is in Texas and everything being the same, and I was thinking, and I was consulting with the client, I think my armchair quarterbacking instincts are saying that this might be a punishment case. I mean, he might want to do this on punishment and just try to avoid death. I think if he avoided death, it'd be a win, honestly. I think if he avoids death, it's going to be a win. And I think, like, all that stuff that, unfortunately, the history, and, it's so tragic because all of this could have been avoided. And we're all sitting here looking at this going, it's over the internet, dude. But, at the same time, we see school shootings every day that are also over, reputation and pride and status and, and humiliation and embarrassment and, just but I think, the thing that makes the internet different than school is that these are adults and they could have walked away. You can't leave school if you're a minor. You have to go, right? And if your parents aren't willing to transfer you out, you're stuck there with the people. The internet is different because you're an adult and you can stop. You don't have to be here.
Right.
And so I think the jury that's going to be something that I think it's going to cut both ways. I think they're going to be unsympathetic to the defendant to a certain extent because he took it that far over something that he could have walked away from. And I think they're also going to be a little bit, if you really tried this on punishment, I think you could use, I hate to say this, I don't want to sound like an ogre or a ghoul, but, I think you could take the history between these two men and use it as mitigation evidence to say, like, look, this guy was in a psychological state of mind that none of us will be able to understand, unless you've been there. And what he felt like he was experiencing, you just get all those thumbnails and you put them up so the jury can see, like, this is what was going on in this man's head, but you don't want to push that so far that you end up making the jury mad at you for, like, dragging the victim. You don't want to do that, right? But you do want to paint an accurate picture of what was going on at the time where all this ended up springing off from. And then if you got other stuff, like he's got a long history of mental health problems, you don't want to build that either, but that goes into it, right? Or, if he had a history of bullying, like he's living with some sort of trauma disorder because of bullying in his past, that plays into it too. If he's got a traumatic brain injury, did he hit his head real hard when he was a kid? Because we're finding out more and more every day that those things are played into it too, right? What's his level of education? What's his level of emotional education? That kind of thing. And you just kind of paint a picture of, like, all these things that was going on at the instant that he decided, but it's like at the same time it wasn't a rational decision. So what do you call it? At the same time he found himself pulling that trigger, and that you get that, you paint that picture to the jury to the point where it's like they don't necessarily sympathize with your guy, but they feel like they don't want to punish him for the worst thing he's ever done in his life. They don't want to just chalk him up to the worst thing he's ever done. You want them to feel like he's got some hope left, Like there's something left in him that's worth saving.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, that's kind of, I've made that argument in punishment several times. Like, we are not the worst thing we've ever done. None of us are the sum of the worst thing we've ever done. And, you know, we all have something more to contribute. And so, you know, you got to have hope for humanity. You've got to have that hope for humanity that, like, we're not just, the story doesn't just end here, right?
Yeah. 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 That's a tough. That's a tough case where kind of reminds me of where it wouldn't be that bad. It's just one of those things where, like, you know, you need to find a couple of people that could potentially say, okay, like if I was pushed this far, what would I do? You know what I'm saying? And maybe that can work in his favor. But
You know who I think a good juror for this case would be, honestly? It would be, like, middle class women who have sons who've been bullied.
hmm,
You know, because, and I say middle class women because they need to have that sense that being bullied is the worst thing that could ever happen to a young man
right,
because they can't imagine anything worse, right?
yep,
Because their kids aren't the ones that are, like, you know, getting it, like that's the worst they're ever gonna have to worry about, right? So when they hear that happening to somebody, they want to rush in and save him because they felt like they needed to do that for their son.
right.
And so, you know, women are very good for men who are on trial. Like, if you have a male defendant, you want a jury full of women because women want to save men. And so, like, especially if you could have women on there, just like basically just hit all those like subliminals about how this could be your son, this could be your son, this could be your son. What would it be like to watch your son suffer every day, every day, every day? You know, and then what happens when it comes to the point where, like, you know, what, and you don't say that out loud, but you say that sort of,
Right.
you bury it, right? You bury it. But yeah, you're definitely looking for jurors who are gonna who's gonna not sympathize with him, but are gonna who are going to imagine, who can imagine young men they love being in that kind of position.
Yeah. That's it's such an uphill battle though with only because, you know, anything, you know, years ago where something happened, you didn't have that immediate access to
Oh
all
no.
all this information, and half of it is misinformation, right? You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? People are just, and if you go down the rabbit hole and if you're in Vegas, what are the chances that you're not gonna, if you live there specifically, because that's where the jurors are gonna come from there, correct?
Right.
So if you live there, what are the chances that you won't go all the way down the rabbit hole on this particular case when you live there and it happened in real time? So to find the jurors and all it, you know, that's got to be just an argument in itself between the prosecutor and either the public defender or whoever. If you
Yeah.
somebody, that's got to be an argument within itself that like we're not going to be able to. Do you envision? Well, I don't know much about Vegas, you know, law and judges and stuff like that, but do you envision the defense attorney potentially saying we got to move this out of Vegas because of the popularity of the story and the popularity of these two? Like, it seems like everybody. I didn't know anything about these guys until this happened.
Right.
I had no idea who either of these two guys were until this happened. And then once it happened, you know, there's like a spider web of people who are connected to these guys, who have witnessed, who have been there, who've seen this stuff, who contributed to it. So, do you think the defense attorney um, or whoever is going to be defending this guy potentially
So
try to move it out of there, out of Vegas? Is that a possibility?
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't practice in Nevada, but of course, every state I think has some sort of provisions for a venue change. But it's kind of tricky because Nevada is very rural, except for Las Vegas, and so you don't, and Reno, I guess. So if you moved it to a smaller county where there's even fewer people who might understand this kind of thing and might understand how these things work, it might get worse, right? It might get worse. Like if you're trying to beat death and you get transferred out to like a county of what, like 10,000 people, that are all like ranchers and like have gun racks in their trucks and stuff, like you might get an even lesser chance of beating death at that point. That's what you're really trying the case on.
Right.
That's how, like, when we do change a venue here, there's kind of a sort of like old school sort of inside, the old timers make jokes about this, right? Like, if you get a change of venue and you're in an urban setting and you get a change of venue, you might have just made your situation worse because they're going to transfer you out to some, like, county, like 3 counties away where, it's like it's, maybe 10,000, 6,000, 8,000 people in the entire county. And, they don't know you, but they don't like you. They already don't like you. So, you might have shot yourself in the foot. You got to really think hard about change of venue. Because where you get changed to you might be out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Yeah. It's just so racking your brain in a situation like this. Do you even say, like, what I'm saying? Do you just say, you know what, somebody else, this is you?
So, I don't know what the public defender system is like. I don't know if they have like court-appointed private counsel or if they actually have a PD's office. But I would probably, unless this guy has money, like real money, and I'm talking like good, like couple $100,000, right, at least, like, because you've got to hire so many experts. You've got to have a jury selection expert. You've got to have a mitigation expert, at least one. You're going to have a forensic examination done. You're going to have to get investigators. Like, and this is going to be a full court press. You can't have just one lawyer on the case. You're probably going to need like 2 or 3. And so if he doesn't have, like, we hear these tragic stories of people who are just like, no, I don't want a public defender. I don't want a court-appointed attorney. And they go and hire somebody for like $5,000 on a death penalty case. And you just can't even do that. You cannot litigate. You cannot mount a defense on a death penalty case for $5,000. But, they're just under such like misinformation that a public defender is going to be bad no matter what. And sometimes, like when you need resources, like serious resources like this case, you're going to need resources. The government is like, the best place to get those resources if you do not have independent wealth like that. Because the public defender doesn't have to go and ask your mama for another $10,000 to hire a witness and hire investigators. Right. They can go tell the judge, we need this money, and the judge can't say no.
Right.
If you ain't got money like that, then you probably need to think about the people of Nevada picking up that tab. I would be real honest. If they came in and they were like, oh, we got this, I mean, even if they put like, brought me a suitcase full of money, I'd still be like, look, ethically, I have to tell you, like this suitcase full of money, like I'd really like to keep this suitcase full of money. But this suitcase full of money, it looks like a lot of money, but not if I'm trying to save your life.
Right.
And so, that's kind of, ethically, I'd have to do that. Now, would I want to? No. But, ethically, of course, I always want to do what my ethics say. But, do I also want to keep a suitcase full of money? Of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. but that's where the where thing about lawyers and stuff like that. People get lawyers get a bad rap where it's just like, oh, they just looking out for the money, looking out for themselves. But at the end of the night, you have to, you know, at the end of each day of a trial, you have to like, go home and decompress and think about what's on the table, and you know, maybe not so much that your maybe not so much your personal reputation, because you do the job for a different reason, but and just the idea of weighing on you, and I'm specifically talking about this case, what you have in front of you, and how you're, because this will probably be something that it's going to get national attention, and people were going to be looking up the name of the lawyer, and they're going to be looking up Stephanie Collins, and they're going to be, what I'm saying? So like, there's a lot that comes along with something that's public as this, that's not, like anything else you've ever done, and not to minimize anything else, because you did talk about some of the cases you were involved in that had to do with legislation, but those things are not as fantastic or dynamic as something like this, where if something is caught.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a whole nother. You go home, in your life, your friends, your family, like you're dealing with this. What to talk about part of it?
Yeah, and it's wild because we had a sort of relatively sensational case here in Travis County. It wasn't my case. Um, it was a woman who was in a love triangle. They were all bicyclists, and so the two female bicyclists were both in love with the male bicyclist, and so and they were like competitive, like Lance Armstrong type bicyclists, right? And which we have a lot of those here in Austin, because this is where Lance Armstrong, did his thing. And one of them, they were in a love triangle. He was dating both of them, and so one killed the other one. And it got some national attention when she went to trial. Court TV, it was Court TV, was just swarming our courthouse. I mean, just swarming our courthouse. Running up and trying to get the cameras in the lawyers' faces, and and our courthouse security, is run by the sheriff's office. They're peace officers, they're deputies, and they were having to push them back and get in the way, and they were trying to get pictures of the jurors, and and I was yelling at them at one point because they ran up right behind a juror. I was like, "Get back, you leech!" And all this stuff, and and it wasn't even my case, but I mean, it's just like they were just causing such a wreaking so much havoc down there that, like, man, these. And yeah, I mean, her attorneys, I know them pretty well, and yeah, they, their picture was everywhere for a good, or on Court TV for a good week, and she ended up getting some pretty, stiff sentence, and yeah, I mean, it's like that whole thing. People don't understand, like, well, I can't say people. I don't want to generalize, but a lot of people will take your worst case and make that your whole career, right? And it may not even be that it was something that you did wrong. It may just be that the facts were just so. I mean, like this case, like the Las Vegas case. Like, how much do you really have to work with? How much do you really have to work with? And I mean, this bicyclist case was the same way. Like, it was hands down. I don't think there's any way around that. That she's the one that did that, and so. How much were they actually going to be able to do? But I mean, I was reading some of the blogs and stuff, just like, I would never hire this guy. Well, God forbid that you would ever need to, right. But if you did, I mean, we're not magicians. At the end of the day, we're not magicians.
Yeah, that's the big thing, where people expect you to just, just kind of make a miracle. You know what I think people got spoiled by like Johnny Cochran over the years, like stuff like that. The dynamic cases where they come in there and then, and I think, well, not just Johnny Cochran, but Law and Order and all these things where within an hour everything's all good. Like the prosecutor comes in and tries them, or the defense attorney comes in and makes a mess of the prosecutor's case within an hour. And
or like the old school Perry Mason. Old school Perry Mason always had his moment where the actual killer would confessed right on the stand. Because Perry Mason was such a good cross-examiner that he'd always get the person who really did it to just say in open court, unbeknownst, that they did it, right? And so, everybody gets to go home happy because the right person, Perry Mason, found Perry Mason did it again.
Matlock and all them guys just come in and just...
people think that's how trials really go, that everybody gets like a Perry Mason moment. You'll be lucky if you get one Perry Mason moment, and it's not going to be nobody confessing on the stand. It's going to be something much less glamorous than that if you even get one.
Yeah, somebody who I share with you, like I testified in the essay case, and I was in court. I was at the courthouse for, I want to say 4 days, and at the end of the fourth day, the prosecutor decided she wasn't going to use me, and then the defense attorney said, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to use you." You know what I'm saying? So, and literally, what I did those 4 days from roughly like 9 to 5, so you go in through the metal detector and you sit in the hallway. You get a lunch break, but I was there for 7-8 hours a day for almost 4 days a week, and then the fifth day I ended up testifying. But then as a witness, you have no idea what's going on in the courtroom,
right?
So I wasn't in the courtroom, but I know my contribution was sitting in the hallway, and I can only imagine what was going on in there. But it's just it's not an hour long thing where you just you just by the end of the show, by the end of a couple of commercials,
right?
the case is solved. It's a lot that goes into it.
Nobody has an emotional breakdown on the stand and start screaming, "I did it! You're right! You're fine! I did it! I did it!" No one, that happened.
Yeah. And the questions that I want the truth. Like that's not.
No. If you try that, the judge is going to tell you to sit your ass down, or more, or even worse, deputy, take him and have a seat back there in the holding cell. That's not good.
Yeah, and again, I got when I spoke to the defense attorney, and I talked to you about this before. When I spoke to the defense attorney, he said, "I'm going to ask you some questions. Only answer," and it was a great preparation. Not that I was going to go off and give anything other than that anyway, but he said, "I'm going to ask you some specific questions. Answer my questions. Don't try to elaborate. Only answer what I ask you, because if you try to elaborate, this is his exact words, I'm going to destroy you on the stand."
Yeah.
Just to let you know. And he asked me was this your report? Did you write this report? Did you respond to this? Yes. And it was like, yes. And other than, given, when he first started asking my name and asked my role and asked my training level, other than that, he asked me some simple questions and you just get off. And, 5 days of about 40 hours worth of my time to be asked to be on the stand for maybe
5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe 15 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's not. And again, most of the time I got a t-shirt on in basketball.
Right.
So I had to actually buy me or wear something, go in my closet and find some clothes for 5 days a week, just in case I got on the stand.
Right.
For between 5 and 15 minutes of yes, no, yes. Then I got off the stand. So it's not as, I love the Law and Order shows. I love you know, Chicago PD and Chicago Fire, and I love all of that. But uh, yeah, that's really not it. Living life, it was nerve wracking, but by the time I actually testified, I had been deposed by the prosecution uh, because just a little bit of what happened. It was an SA case, and I was the first person that the victim reported it to, and um, uh, so I had my report, and and I wrote the report on it. So my report was went through. That was a nerve wracking thing that they went through my report, and before we even got to anything court wise, they deposed me in. There was like because of where I work at, there was like my director, my assistant director, representative of the place. I was just like I was in a room. The dispatcher, the responding officer that picked up. It was like I was in a room with like 10 people, and they were going through my report and asking me questions. And then I met again, and I probably met like 3 or 4 times before I actually went to court. And then another time, because the prosecutor didn't use me, I testified for the defense. So I probably went over my report and what was going on probably like 5, 6, 7 times before I actually got on the stand. And so yeah, while it was nerve wracking, like I was just answering the questions, and I was confident in my role and things like that. So while it was nerve wracking, uh, it was what it was. Once you get up there and they're asking you questions, it's as simple as yes or no. So just to answer that question.
Yeah, that's what I tell people that are like, if my client wants to testify, or I have witnesses that I'm calling. I always tell them, like, just answer the question. Just answer the question. Because if you try to go off into the weeds, or if you try to fight back, or you feel like you're being attacked and you got to justify yourself and all that stuff, you're just going to make it harder on yourself. The easiest way out of this is just to say, yes, no, I don't know, or, vary whatever I ask you or whatever they ask you, just say the exact response to the question. Because if you start giving them all this stuff, you're just going to build the pier that you're going to walk off of, basically. So
Yeah.
don't help them. Don't help me. I don't need your help, but don't help them.
Yep. And the prosecutor didn't even ask me any questions. And like I shared the story before, she was recruiting me for a volleyball team. She was like, "Oh, you tall? Do you play volleyball?
That's right.
We got a volleyball game, and you want to play?" At the time, I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll play with you guys." I don't. But yeah, it was like that was the preparation for that 5 to 10 minutes. Probably was nerve wracking, but when you got there and you actually, because the facts of the case from my standpoint were clear. What I did, my role, what I actually did, what I actually wrote down was clear. So it was easy for me to just basically repeat what I saw, what I observed, and what I wrote in my report.
Right.
So it wasn't something that was like taxing on me. Like I didn't have to get cross-examined.
Yeah.
There was no really the picking apart came way before the trial. They went through
Right.
that all that stuff came way before the trial. So if that helps you out living life.
Yeah, well, I don't know who he's going to end up having as his attorney, but,
Tough.
God be with him.
That's a tough case.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. I don't want to be that lawyer. It's going to be a tough job. Tough hill to climb. But, most of the cases are a tough hill to climb. And not because their clients are always guilty. It's because a lot of times could come back to the exonerated fire. They poison the well so badly, or even if it's a case that's got no attention, it's our culture in this country has the system has done a very good job of teaching us that it's here to protect us, and that's sort of what juries respond to. Juries respond to that programming that that the system is doing this for our own good, and so just let them just sit back and let the state do what the state thinks it needs to do.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So it's hard to push them off that. It's really hard to get them in a position where they start thinking that they don't have to respect that sort of protecting bear hug that the state so kindly offers us. That they can they don't need that. They don't need to respect that when they're back there.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, thank you for having me up. I really appreciate it. That was a good conversation.
I appreciate you taking the time out. I would just by chance, because it's not like we communicated and I said I'm going live, and the fact that you popped up, and I was thinking, like I said, when I thought about that, when I saw that, I immediately was like, I wonder what Steph is thinking about this and how she would approach it. I appreciate you for allowing me to pick your brain a little bit.
Of course.
Time.
Yeah, thank you. Good show. You're doing good.
Yes.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Oh, I did 2 hours and 36 minutes, and I actually had no expectation of people coming through and contributing. Shout out to Chad T, came through earlier with a really good story about a young man on a job interview. So that was cool. And of course, last call, Steph, and everybody that contributed in the chat. Living life. D7, beautiful. Riz stopped in. I ain't seen Riz in a minute. Glow, of course. That's my sis, Glow. Lorna Williams, Fiona, of course, Stephanie Collins, Josephine stopped in. Tiz, the homie Tiz, of course, has called, of course. Beautiful Bernice. Trying to think who else was here. Lisa J. Stocks, Martha Rivera. Trying to think. See, I should be better about trying to figure out, paying attention a little bit more, just off the top of my head. Yeah, man. Last call. Always appreciate you, man. I look at you, what you're doing. Look at what you guys do, what you and the partners do, how you guys show up every freaking week, and y'all do what y'all do. And I want to get to the point where I'm doing it more consistent. Yeah, they definitely living life like I said. I ain't been live since February, so for people to come through and show love, I appreciate it. I'm always gonna appreciate that. Again, so and now I can't go back to the chat, but you said you're gonna pop up on one of my panels, so I'm gonna hold you to that. I appreciate y'all for stopping through. I'm gonna call it a night again. Check out. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna do something on Father's Day if I have the time and I get the time and energy. I think I'm gonna pop out on Father's Day, so it won't be anything too heavy. It'll just be just a little, nod to the fathers out there, and hopefully y'all will come in and enjoy that. And thank you for stopping through. I'm out.
Yeah. Look, Invitation sent, sign seal delivered, you got it, now welcome in. Engaging with the listener, a space for where you is. As we debate particulars, trying to build a bridge through conversation that's intimate. The mission is thought-provoking with words spoken. Bitter truth, not to sugarcoat it, just an openness place on display. Wisdom in the words that he say, a part of just embracing every gray over here. No fear, clear, I'm unafraid. I'm much older, I no longer hold a child ways. Adults in the room, times past for playing games. Grown talk, isn't that the reason why you came? Simple and plain, delivery raw, straight to the chase. Better than before, learning from your yesterdays. Introducing insight, influence, be amazed by a brother of a certain age. Now rock with him.